He talks a good game. He talks a good game. On the outside, he talks a good game.
It finished Brighton Hove Albion 1, West Ham United 1. Hello, welcome, Tommy Edson. I hope you're all well. So, what do we think of the game? Before the game, lineups were announced. I don't know if you're anything like me, but I was thinking, what the actual hell is going on with Nuno and these lineups? Picking Rodriguez, what was his lineup? And no Wilson up front, no recognised striker up front. But I've got to say, all in all, for the first half, I thought they had the better of it. But I thought we grew into the half. We had a couple of chances. Some of it had his chances. They had a couple of chances. But I've got to say this. If I was a Brighton Hove Albion fan, I would be almightily pissed off with my team because their build-up was so slow and their crosses were really poor. Now, our crosses weren't that much better. In fact, they weren't better at all. Jufa didn't even think he couldn't even get the ball into the 6-yard box or 18-yard box at one stage. He just kept on hitting it into their home end. But it was just, they were just really poor. So as we were getting better and better in the first half, I thought, you know what, it's a poor game, poor quality. But we are set up to be defensive, and we're kind of going forward. And every now and again, we're that ball through from Paqueta, or a longer ball that's coming through that gets us some of it on the end of it. I thought, okay, we're starting to get hold of this game. Second half, no substitutions made at half time. And we came out looking like the better team. So for 10, 15 minutes, I thought, hello, we're doing all right here. We're doing all right. Then it started to change a little bit, that Brighton started to come at us just a little bit, but the quality was really, really poor. But they were getting at us, getting through us a little bit. Then we made our substitution, of course. Wilson, I thought, had an immediate impact. And he got that ball, it was a bit of a mistake from them, and pumped the ball forward. Wilson got the end of it, and then passed the ball forward to Bowen, and just a quick shot, really. And he surprised the keeper, I think, because none of us thought he was going to be able to get it on target, let alone score from that angle. And he didn't. It was fantastic. Oh, I was going, yes. 70 odd minutes, whatever it is, just hold out now, just keep this pressure on, and we'll see this game out. And for the next sort of 10 minutes, I thought, we're doing all right. But they slowly got back into it. They made their substitutions, we made substitutions. Nuno again, going more defensive. And I thought, how much more defensive you want to be? Do you want to go in reverse, for fuck's sake? And then they got their goal in, 90 minutes or whatever it is. And it was just shot after shot. And it was kind of, pinging around in there. And, there's a question over handball. I kind of think it was handball in that moment. Yeah, it came off his leg, but his arm was stretched out. And then there is the other thing. Was it an overhead kick, and was that dangerous play? It was very close. So I could see that either of those two situations in that goal being scored being ruled out. But they got their goal, right? They could have scored. I think they could have scored again. But right at the end, Mavropanos could have scored a header as well for us. My point here is that on the commentary team, which I was watching, I wasn't able to get to the game today. I was working. But the commentary team, they said, this is a tactical... This is before they scored, right? Before Brighton scored. They said, this is a tactical masterclass from Nuno. No, not for me it wasn't. It wasn't tactical masterclass at all, because essentially we just sat deep and we played defensive. Rodriguez was in there. He didn't have a bad game. Fernandez was head and shoulders above everybody else. Fantastic. Wan-Bissaka was okay. Tadibo was okay, made a couple of mistakes in there. Kilman, didn't really see much of him. Or Mavropanos, half-decent game. Juve, I thought, was poor on the left. Somerville, bright spark, lots of energy. Got onto a couple of chances. Could have finished. Shoulda, woulda, coulda squared it to Bowen for the second chance. Didn't get the shot on target as well. So Bowen in kind of short moments did really well for us, and especially in the second half, I thought, he was lively, and that's when we were in the ascendancy. We kept on, getting up there. But again, Nuno sets us up defensively without a striker up there. And I think if we played on the front foot in the first half, and also especially a lot more in the second half, and continued that on, I think we could have won it. Again, I think we could have won the game. Now, just here's my reservation, and it's a massive reservation, because I just don't think we're that good still, because Brighton were really, really poor. So when the commentators say, there's a tactical masterclass from Nuno, I said, no, it's just that Brighton were piss poor today. They couldn't put passes together. They couldn't get crosses together. Every time they were hitting a cross, it was just hit way too long, way over hit. They couldn't get shots off. I think at one stage we had 12 shots each towards goal, on goal. And we had 5 on target, and they had none. So it was just, it was all us, just getting. It wasn't even good quality. It was almost like we were fumbling our way through into the final third. But no, I'm not going to sniff at that. I'm going to say, no, that's good. We're not a great squad. We can't really find our way. We're struggling with, with Nuno picking the right players still. Why Magassa isn't starting, why Potts isn't starting. My argument is, if you're good enough to be on the bench, you're good enough to start. Now, why wouldn't you play your best players, your best performing players? It just doesn't make sense unless there's an injury, unless you're saving them. Well, if you're saving them, start them and then take them off at 50, 60 minutes. Don't bring them on. So what about if Brighton had gone 2 or 3 goals up, 4 goals up in the first half or the first 50, 60 minutes? Then bring them on doesn't make any difference. You kind of you're potentially sacrificing the game because you're not starting with your best players or your best performing players. Why are you starting with Rodriguez? He's been terrible ever since we bought him, really. He's probably had 20 minutes where he was half decent. Now, in all fairness, he didn't have a terrible game, but, it was a mismatch between him and Fernandes. Also, they haven't played with each other. So why wouldn't you have Fernandes and Potts or Fernandes Magassa in there to start up? Okay, we had Paqueta playing sort of deeper in the 10 role. He didn't have a terrible game, but again, he didn't have a fantastic game. He had that one shot in the first half, the speculative shot. Yeah, skinny surface, it could have easily gone in as well. But I just didn't think we had the opportunity to see out this game and not to sit back even more and just invite them on. And Wilson was up there by himself, completely isolated, and he wasn't getting anything. It was just everything was in our final third from Brighton. And they were so slow in building up, and we weren't even pressing to push them back out and put challenges in. Before we got into the final third, I'm talking about. And then it was just backs against the wall, last-ditch defending. And you could see it. You could see it building up. And I was just fearful, right, they got this goal. Added time now, they're going to get another goal. It was just, I thought, it's going to happen, isn't it? It's going to happen. I was ecstatic when Bowen scored. Absolutely, I could not believe it. Jumped out my seat, screaming and shouting. And then when they scored, I was just, head in my hands going, what is going on here? It's as I've been saying before. I've been saying ever since Nuno took charge. But I was saying with Potter, saying with Lopetegui, I was saying with Moyes as well. We've got to play more attacking football. And the way to stop a team from coming onto you is put pressure on them. It doesn't mean that you give up everything defensively, but put more pressure. We had no pressure on Brighton after we scored. And they just kept on coming and coming and coming. Nuno's making substitutions that kind of reinforce that. It just makes us even more defensive. It shuts up shop when what you're doing. You're not shutting up shop. Well, actually, what you're doing is you're just inviting even greater pressure. Now, if Brighton Because I was really fearful before the game. I thought Brighton actually were a really good team, and some of the results they've had and some of the performances they've had, I thought this could be a horror show. I could have thought it was going to be 3, 4, 5-0 before the game. I was really fearful for it. But actually, they didn't turn up at all. So I'm kind of wondering, well, what was I worried about? I did say before the game, I thought, look, what the hell is that lineup? If he does anything, he gets a result with that, I'll eat my words. The problem is, he did get a result. We could have won it. We almost did win it. But I'm not going to eat my words over it, because I still feel exactly the same, that we should have won that game, or we could have won that game by playing more attacking football, or even just pressing a little bit higher. If we stop them coming over the halfway line, if we stop them getting in the final third, all that's left for them to do is take long range shots. So it was just another poor decision here, poor decision making here by Nuno. For me, I know it's a draw. Before kickoff, we would say, yeah, a draw's a good result away. And when we were winning, we were out of the bottom three. We were out of the bottom three. And if we got another goal, we would have jumped ahead of Leeds. We would have actually gone to 16th position. But we're still in the bottom three now. Forest just above us. And then you got Leeds. So now, we got Villa. We got City. We got Fulham. Brighton again. We got, where are we going to get the points from? Now, you could say this is a really pessimistic view and there's no way, you got to be more positive and look what Nuno's doing. Look, only one loss in 6 games, is it? Something like that. Oh, this is a half decent run of form. It would be if the points weren't so tight and we weren't in the bottom three desperate to get points. And when there's been opportunities to play on the front foot and to get a win or to secure a win. That's what I'm pissed off at. I respect the point. Got to value that point. It's a good point away. We bite your hand off for a point beforehand. Yes, those things are true. But when you've got the opportunity to take the lead and increase that lead, or just stop the opposition from, coming onto you, or sucking the life out of the opposition so that they don't grow in confidence just to keep on battering you. It wasn't even really a defensive error or goalkeeping error. Areola didn't have anything to do for the best part of the game. And then all of a sudden, he has to spring into action. He's making save after save. Eventually, one of those is going to go in. Because we invited them on. And the substitutions, the tactics were geared up to just low block, and just keep them there. Again, Nuno, doing it again. We on another day, I'm convinced Brighton a bit. They would beat us quite handsomely. And don't for one second think that Nuno's turned a corner here, or we're definitely out of the relegation zone. Oh yeah, we're definitely going to climb the table now with that performance and that performance against Man United. For me, we are a long way off. We're a long way off. And we're only appearing to be a little bit better, in my humble opinion, is because the teams that we're playing recently have been really, really poor. That's the problem. And we're trying to gauge our performances against their performances when we actually think that we're somehow better than they are, when we're not. We're actually really, really poor. And we should have won against a really poor team again. We should have gone after the juggernaut against Man United. And we should have gone after Liverpool, who were a really poor team on the night as well. This is Nuno. This is Nuno all over. We had opportunities. We failed to grab hold of those opportunities and get 3 vital points. And it's been game after game after game. So at the end of the season, when we're tallying up all the points, this is a problem that we got. Everybody's holding out for January now, as if January is going to be some magical pill that's going to save our season. And you know what? It might do. I said as soon as Nuno took over, I said if he keeps us up, it'll be a miracle. But I also said by the time January comes, it might be game over anyway. It might just be too much. Now, we do have some quality in there, and we do have some fight in there. I've been so impressed with Fernandes. I really have in this game. But why aren't we starting with our best players? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. You know, if they need to be rested, then take them off early. Take them off at 50, 60 minutes. But start with your best players. The mandate, actually, from the Football League, from the FA, from the Premier League, is to put out your best team. Now, we know no manager ever really sticks to that these days. But that's actually what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to put out the best 11, the best starting 11. Well, I think we could all definitely agree that wasn't our best starting 11. Not the best starting 11 that's going to give us the best opportunity to score. Now, I get it. I get what people might be thinking. Well, you know what? We were expecting Brighton to be a lot better than they actually were. Therefore, we set up defensively to try and counteract that in the first half, hold them to 0-0, come out the second half, so on and so forth. So if that's the case, then why didn't we make early substitutions in at half time to bring on Wilson to go for the punch? Why didn't we do that? Why didn't we bring on Potts and Magassa and let Fernandes play in there as well? Why didn't we switch to a back four to allow that? Do you know what I mean? What is going on here? Now, bringing on Myers as well, and you kind of think, well, taking him off for Juve. Well, Myers is never going to come forward, so therefore, we've lost any effort on the left-hand side to go forward. That enables them to come at us even more. It was just, again, wrong tactical decisions that could have lost us this game, and definitely caused us to concede. Honestly, I'm getting to the point now where I'm so hacked off with the decision making that I'm kind of fighting against myself in terms of, it's a good point, we've got a point, we didn't lose, that kind of positivity. There's part of me is definitely that. There's a part of me that's definitely positive about some of the players and some of the effort out there that I really like, okay? The Fernandes, Magassas, the Potts. Bowen came on strong today. Wilson, I thought, when he came on, he was a handful. He did really well. He had that shot where another day he would have got it on target as well. But again, striker, making space for himself, got the opportunity, set up for Bowen as well. This is what we needed right at the start, not with, 25 minutes to go. We needed that right at the start. So, I'm with you. I'm with you in terms of there are positive elements to this, but I can't get over the kind of negativity I'm feeling towards the tactics and the decision making and the substitutions that are kind of stifling us. And I think that's what it is. I think the players are playing with shackles on. And what we need to do in the moment is release those shackles, take them off. Let them be a bit more expansive. So put the pressure on the opposition. And we're just not doing it. Game after game after game after game. You wait, because I know what some people are thinking. Oh, he's moaning again. Oh, he's going off again. Oh, negativity. No, let's just be positive. Think about the positives. Right. You wait until we play a really decent team. Not when we play badly. Actually, when we play some of our decent football, like we've tried to show in a few games here and there, in glimpses, right? But you wait until we play a decent team. See how we do. Villa are on fire, right? See how we do against them. Now, see how we do against City. See how we do against Fulham. See how we do when Brighton come back to us. I'm expecting them to be a lot better than they actually were today. If we get a single point in the next few games before the end of the year, I will be impressed, because I think they're all tough games. But I'm fearing the worst. I am fearing the worst. And if we don't get, if we don't get many points in the next few games, it's a long road. That's definitely a long road on the backside of the season to get us out of this mess. We might do it. We might go on a run of 3 or 4 wins, 5 wins here and there, get a few draws here. We might do it. Anything's possible. Of course it is. We might go on a run in February and then all of a sudden we'll be safe. But it still doesn't stop us from being over half the season, 2/3 of the season in a relegation fight. That we seem to be doing this for season after season after season, bar a couple of seasons, 2 or 3 seasons when we were up there. But most of the season we're down at the bottom, and it's only a matter of time when this really bites us in the arse, and all our problems come home to roost, as it were. Nuno again for me. Nuno again. If you like what I do, keep on watching, and I'll catch you again. But on to the next game, isn't it? It's Villa at home. What are your thoughts about that? If he sets up like he has been, we're gonna get spanked. I'm convinced of it. We will get beat if he sets up like that. If you like what I do here, keep on watching. But as far as I'm concerned, if you got the best players that are in form, that have been proving themselves, don't put them on the bench. Put them on the pitch. They should be playing. They should be starting. If they're good enough to be on the bench and they're in form, they should be on the pitch. They should not be on the bench. Catch you again. Bye now.